Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Wallace. I'm a trader and coach for Trading Beliefs, and the Investing Channel have invited me here to talk about a topic of interest to myself at the moment, and that is the Canadian dollar, and in particular the sort of strength that we've seen there over the last 4 to 6 weeks, and whether I see that actually remaining any further throughout the summer. If we look at my first chart here, okay, what we should have there is a daily chart of the British pound against the Canadian dollar. When I operate within FX markets, foreign exchange markets, I operate to a very simple model that I'm looking to buy strength and sell weakness, and we can see there that that's been a lovely sort of downtrend there for about the last 6 weeks, and that just really supports my model, namely that we've seen sterling is the weakest, it's the weakest currency on the sort of of the major rates over the last month, 3 month, and 12 months, whereas the Canadian dollar has sort of jumped to the sort of top of the pile over the last 6 weeks. And so there we have, a beautiful case of, by shorting sterling against the Canadian dollar, what we've seen is a case of, buying strength and selling weakness. That's only really been confirmed by looking at the second chart, which is a chart there, once again, of the daily chart of the US dollar versus Canadian dollar. Once again, we've seen, US dollar strength primarily for about the last 18 months, but you can see there from the chart, from about the since the end of May, what we've started to see is that actually, we had a little bit of a tipping away there in terms of that dollar strength has ebbed away, whilst we've seen that Canadian dollar strength sort of push into the market. What we're seeing now, if I'm just looking at that kind of daily price action there, we're just sort of sat around about that, just above that kind of 130 level, big round psychological number. And I'm actually going to be watching to see how does the price action play out there over the next sort of 7 to 10 days, and that will give me an indication of what I'll be looking to sort of how to position myself for the remainder of the summer. What we've seen is, if we look at my third chart, which is the daily chart of the Canadian dollar against the Japanese yen. This is what kind of interests me a while, is that a great deal of the strength that we have seen in Canadian dollar over the last 4 to 6 weeks has been based upon sort of geopolitical tensions. As we've seen tensions rise in the Persian Gulf with some of the issues we've had there with Iran and oil, that has in fact had a knock-on impact onto commodity prices, in particular oil and gold, which we'll look at in a moment. But most of you will know that CAD yen is pretty much a proxy for oil price. What you see there on that daily chart is there's actually a lovely inverse head and shoulders that was formed. Price has rallied, pretty much like, Canadian dollars rallied across the board over the last sort of 4 to 6 weeks. But I look at the price action at the moment, okay, and I just look at price action and how that is actually maneuvering, how that's going sideways. And once again, I'm just sort of keeping an eye on how that actually is going to play out. Will it push there north of that daily 200 period moving average? Or will that act as a sort of dynamic resistance, and we'll see an element of CAD strength sort of ebb away? And that's kind of, I see that as confirmation on my final chart, which is a weekly chart of the gold. We can see once again we had a real rally up there to this 1400 level where, we've not seen sort of broach for a few years. But actually, what we're looking at, the sort of price action there at the moment, it's not particularly filling me with any real confidence at this moment for any further bullish moves. I think a lot of this is because, as I say, that Canadian dollar strength has been filled on the back of geopolitical tensions, and I actually personally believe that they will probably ebb away, and that actually, Mr. Trump, regardless of what the media may be saying, wants actually a peaceful resolution in the Persian Gulf rather than a move to arms. And if doing so, well, then I think we will see oil and gold drift away, and with that, the Canadian dollar. I hope you found that useful. I hope that helps you. I wish you the best of success in your own trading investing, and I'll speak to you soon. Many thanks.